are about
cool.
to.
Oh yeah, shit.
We are now. Yes, our first viewer of the season, Piors. Now, hello, mate, and welcome.
Season 3.
Season 2, 3/2.5. I threw my toys out the pram a bit last season. It wasn't actually, that wasn't all it. I moved and shit, and then we just kept on missing weeks, and we ended up sacking it off. Partly because I was doing shit. Davis champion 2 years running of both the podcast league and was. I don't even know when our head-to-head league. I was trying to think of that earlier. Pernell, was it you? I know Pernell was up there. I actually don't know who won our head-to-head league, which is a bit embarrassing. We should definitely make a note in future. But yeah, Davis is here with his pro tips for the season.
Potentially. Quick team news. Well, I don't know. Should I? There's an account on Twitter. It's up to you whether you want to believe it or not. But supposedly Stones and Guardiola aren't starting, and Foden is starting. So if you're affected by that, that's what's going around on Twitter. It's nothing to do with me. Make your own decisions. But yeah, I had Guardiola and I've changed him to Estupiñán based on that. So it could be right. It could be wrong.
Sorry, Pernell said my brother won the head-to-head league. Did he?
Oh, he might have done actually.
Oh shit! Sorry, Greg.
When you wake up, let us know.
Yeah, he's now residing in Thailand, so I don't think he's going to be a live viewer anymore. But yeah, that is news to me. Matt, the traditional welcome.
Yeah, the usual.
Always good to see that. Cole's Man and Van service is the best man and van in all of the UK. If you need any junk moved from one place to another, he's your man. Neil Harvey, hello, mate.
My boss, the boss.
Neil, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So we've set ourselves a mini target to get to 100 subscribers. Hopefully in the near future. I think we're at 61. So any subscribers. Yeah. Paj is here. Yes, Paj.
Wait, just a quick one. Have you loaded up the tabs?
Yeah, I mean not that many because I thought we don't, other than looking at our teams and maybe
just our teams really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think it's too bad. Bearing in mind there's 10 minutes to go. I don't know. Do we want to reveal our teams before the deadline? I mean, it's a bit.
I'm happy to.
Yeah, fuck it. Do you know what? I was so settled on my team until Jesus got injured, which I know was a while ago now. But the last couple of days, I've changed it so many times. It's actually silly.
I know, it's crazy. The amount of screenshots of my teams and other people's teams I've got on my camera roll is crazy. I can't. It's like finding a needle in a haystack looking through that camera roll.
So if you just joined a tiny bit late, Ben reckons that there's a guy on Twitter who has Man City team news, and he reckons that Stones isn't starting, who is owned by 30%, I think it is, of.
Yeah, so Stones and how do you say his name? Guardiola, the new centre-back. They're supposedly not starting. Grealish doesn't start either, but Foden does. That's the rumour. So
there you go, Matt. There's your answer. I mean, obviously, Twitter is Twitter, so I would take it with a slight pinch of salt, but it has actually. I had Stones in my team until you just said that, and now I'm wondering if I've done the right thing because.
Oh shit! Mine hasn't saved. 2 seconds. Sorry, you carry on. I got stuff.
Wait, you might have to carry on a second. I just need to answer the door. 1 second.
If anyone's trying to make last-minute changes, it looks like the site's crashed as per usual on game week 1.
Was it actually?
Yeah, we know what it's like. Oh, hang on, we back?
Charles Parsons, again, I think another new viewer. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do already. He's saying no.
Charles is an OG.
An OG, is that right?
Yeah, he's a once a season kind of guy there.
You got to try and stick with us.
Yeah, come on, Charles.
You know, we tend to start big and then drop off a bit. Partly our fault, partly our viewers' fault. So let's try and get that sorted. Yeah, it's hard to keep the motivation when there's like 5 viewers. Although Pernell and Matt, and Paj, we always appreciate you showing up.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in a right kerfuffle now because he's saying no Salah. It's a good point. I basically left for 4 mil in the bank just so that I could get Salah.
This week or next week?
Next week. I was going to put him in next week. And now, because of this Stones thing, you've just done me over.
I'm only trying to help the information that I've been provided.
If I didn't have Stones, who would I go for 5.5? I think it would be. It could be I double up on the Arsenal defense, to be fair, and put Saliba in.
Yeah, because if Foden wasn't playing, I was planning on putting Odegaard in. I think if you've only got 2 Arsenal, then maybe get a third. Yeah, why not?
Do I go for Foden instead of Diaby? Diaby I like, but it's a bit of an unknown, obviously.
Who've they got? Newcastle.
Yeah, but then the next 2 is all right, but I think it is a bit dodge. But who would I actually go for? But you reckon Foden starting, is it?
Foden starting, Grealish is out, Stones is out, and Guardiola's out. That's the rumour.
This team would leave me 0.5 short of getting Salah in next week, though. So he's saying who's going to start ahead of Pernell's question is. But I think we've got less options, haven't they? Because Mahrez has gone.
Gundogan's gone.
Gundogan's gone. We're probably going to see more of Alvarez. That's the only thing. But
yeah, I imagine we haven't heard anything on KDB, so I assume that he starts. So I'm thinking Alvarez bench, Foden on the left, Bernardo on the right.
Yeah. Or Foden, they're talking about him playing through the middle more, aren't they? Oh my God, it is actually down.
Oh no! Wait, is it? Oh, there's still 6 minutes, isn't there?
I've still got a tab with my team. Everyone let us know in the comments if you're trying to change your teams. Is it down for you? If it comes back, let us know. That is not ideal at all.
Yeah, it's saying unavailable for me now as well.
I've still got one screen with my team on it, so at least you're not just looking at our ugly mugs.
I'll share my screen while you because obviously you try and crack on with what you got to do, and I'll have a little look at my team.
All right. Pernell said, "Shall I start Pedro or Alvarez?" So you've got Alvarez. He must. It's an interesting shout. Oh, Charles has got Alvarez as well. So I haven't actually really considered him, but I know he has been starting more in preseason. Did he start the Charity Shield as well? Yeah.
Yeah, he did, but KDB did come on, didn't he?
Well, yeah, I think Foden didn't start. Maybe zoom in a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe that. It's actually down.
That City team news must have got out, and everyone's trying to get on the site. I think the usual rush.
So who have I ended up with now? I think
all these weeks of planning has come down to these couple of minutes.
I think I've ended up with Trent then.
Which... Have you got? Are you trying to get on the app? Maybe try the app because sometimes that's better.
Good shout.
I mean, I didn't personally use it, but I've heard that in times of need like this, that the app is the one. While Tom's trying to do that, I'll just give you a little overview of my team. So, gone for Still in goal. Got good fixtures to start. Home to Luton. Followed up by away to Wolves. So pretty much the 2 best fixtures you could ask for on paper, probably the first 2 weeks. And a West Ham side as well that are, have made quite a few changes. So I'm quite happy with that. I did have Guardiola until this news broke that supposedly he's not playing. So just a straight swap with Estupinian. Again, same reasons as Still. I think Estupinian was one of the highest assisters in the end last season. So can't really go too wrong there.
Yeah, so that fixes as well. Obviously, Pedro, I was looking at Pedro when he was pretty low owned, and now he's shot up to like 20%. I think there is still a question mark. I think he will start. He will start, but they've got so many options, Brian. He's not going to be one of those guaranteed.
Oh no, yeah,
not
he's no. I think there's. I think they've bought a squad considering that they're in Europe next season. So potentially up front, you've got him, Welbeck, or Ferguson, or even that Undav. So he's far from certain to start, but he has been starting in pre-season and he's on penalties. So that's why I've gone with him, old Jow. But if that doesn't work out, I'll swap him for maybe Nketiah. I've got 2 mil in the bank. My plan is to change Pedro to Gakpo next week, so I'll need a Liverpool next week home to Bournemouth. But yeah, I think, like you said, João Pedro was. Who's going to start what for Liverpool?
Nketiah. Do you think Nketiah is going to start?
This is the other one. It's like could be any one of him, Trossard and Havertz. I think at home to Forest, I think they'll go Nketiah because they want to get his confidence up with a couple of goals. If it was me, I'd choose Trossard. But then Havertz did play pretty well in the Charity Shield, so I haven't really helped answer your question there. But yeah, I wanted to get Nketiah in, but I thought Pedro was more likely to start this week. So that's why I've gone for that.
I think my transfers just went through. I think on the app it just went through.
Yeah. Come on then, boy.
I mean, I might be
on the app if you need to.
I might be a bit alone on this, but basically, so I've now left. I've got 4.5 mil in the bank, and obviously,
that's insane, isn't it?
4 mil of it is to basically put in Salah for Bruno next week. But that does feel a bit crazy. I mean, I suppose by next week I'll have 0.5, so it is basically. I have basically spent all the money. It's just slightly delayed.
Yeah. And yeah, you're going to need the first week to find out what's what really. Like a lot of teams, there's so many uncertainties with who's going to start and for different formations and all that sort of stuff. So no shame in leaving that money in the bank because it could be needed. You know, you could use that money next week with a free transfer, or if you've spent all your money, you might end up having to spend like a -8 if you need to rejig everything. So I think money in the bank's sensible for sure.
Yeah, Matt's saying he's got 1.5 in the bank. I think I heard someone make a good point. Obviously, the championship started last week and the Charity Shield as well. We saw that there's going to be like probably about 10 minutes added onto every match. So
yeah,
it does mean that if you have a player who's going to play the whole game, even better because they're going to get like 100 minutes. So that's why I like Bruno, Saka, Haaland. You know, maybe not Haaland because he does get rested after he scored a couple, but trying to find those players who are going to play, you know, more minutes than not. But equally, if your player doesn't start, and it's not,
they've got more time.
Yeah, they got more time to come on and
I think all in all, this rule is good for the teams with the biggest squads, basically, isn't it? Because you know, if you're a lower team, you're at home, you're winning, or you know, you're protecting a lead, then all of a sudden 12 minutes comes up on the board, and you've got 3 wingers coming on fresh against your fullbacks, you're going to be fucked. So I think a big disadvantage to the smaller teams. I seen in Klopp's press conference earlier, he doesn't think that there'll be much. Like, it's not going to make that much of a difference, but personally, I think it could make quite a big difference as the season goes on.
I think it will, yeah, and I think, it's going to be harder for teams to keep a clean sheet. We might see less clean sheets as well. That like having so long added on, it does make a difference. So we've both gone Steele in goal. With Turner.
Let's talk about that. So Turner obviously has moved from Arsenal to Forest. He's a 4 mil goalie. What happened to what's the name of the goalie they had last season? The ex Real Madrid. Is it Navas?
Keylor
Navas. Yeah, I'm guessing that he's chipped off because I didn't see him listed. So I didn't hear that he left.
They had Dean Henderson, didn't they, last season? I saw that they might. Yeah.
Yeah, Keylor Navas. They got him in. Oh, maybe it was only on loan in January. I think that was it.
Yeah.
So Turner's obviously the 4 mil goalie that you'd think is going to start games. So that's a good little save in there.
Also, I had a look. I mean, if we were to stick with these keepers, game weeks 8 and 9, I mean, this is looking a long way ahead, but game weeks 8 and 9, Brighton play Liverpool and Man City. And I happened to look at Turner, game weeks 8 and 9, they have got Crystal Palace and Luton. So there might actually be a time where it's worth swapping those two around for those 2 weeks. But obviously, Brighton have a pretty good start.
They do.
So probably Steele's gonna be there for most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Estupiñán, is it? He must be after Haaland probably the most selected. I think he was like over 50% last time.
Was he? I didn't realise. I saw a lot of drafts of him in.
54%.
I didn't have him, but it is bloody hell. I mean, yeah, it is an obvious shout when you consider the fixtures and his attacking prowess mixed in with clean sheets. So yeah, I'm not too displeased that I had to put him in last minute. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And then
didn't Brighton buy a new keeper? They did. I think he cost about. Yeah, they did. He cost about 16 mil, but but they needed another backup.
Sanchez Chelsea.
Yeah, Sanchez left. I can't see a 16 mil keeper going straight in over Steele, who had a really good season last season.
He did, yeah. I thought he'd be more highly selected. What is his ownership?
I think that's why, though. I think that Paj makes a point that I think some people think he might not be the number one choice.
Okay, Paj has got a bit of intel, is it?
Well, I did notice that Brighton had another keeper. I'd never heard of him. But
only 6% ownership for Steele, which is a bit surprising.
So apparently, just looking at this fantasy football scout, apparently he is a threat to Steele. He is also 4.5. He signed from Anderlecht for I think it was 16 mil.
Okay.
I mean,
well, we got Turner. If not, worst comes to
exactly. Worst case scenario, Turner plays. They're going to get dicked though by Arsenal. But then, obviously, if it turns out it still doesn't start this week, he's got to come straight back out, which is which would be a bit annoying. He's only 20. This keeper.
I can't see it. I think still, like you said, he had such a good season when he did come in for Sanchez. There's no reason for him to be dropped.
Yeah, let's hope so.
You got Gabriel as well?
Yeah, got Gabriel. Got Gabriel. I now have Saliba as well. So because I don't have Martinelli, so I've doubled up.
So just looking at Arsenal's fixtures, it makes sense. We've got home to Forest. Yeah, I mean, look at that run of fixtures. It's a great start.
The only thing with Martinelli that concerns me a bit is Trossard now, and he obviously Saka's also was on pens. Hopefully, will still be on pens. But I had Martinelli or I wanted him, but I just thought in the end, just go for Saka.
I think I got a feeling Martinelli could end up the season as our highest scorer because he does seem to be the one that gets on the end of things. That ball in behind with his pace, but he's definitely got his minutes under threat with Trossard, Havertz, and there's going to be a lot more rotation from us this season. Definitely, first few weeks should be fine, but bit of a scouting mission first few weeks.
And the thing is, I mean, obviously Arsenal, Brighton, United, and Man City, their fixture's just too good this week. And even for the next, I know United have got Spurs away next game, but then after that they've got a couple of really tasty ones. So hard to look beyond those teams. Obviously, the only thing is Liverpool playing Bournemouth at home next week, and how do you sort that out? I mean, I've now ended up with Trent a bit last minute, but I'm not too disappointed about that because, again, Trent's one of those. He's going to play 90 minutes. He's potentially going to start playing, or was playing a bit further forward. So fuck it. Yeah, so he's a good one for Bournemouth, but now it's going to be difficult for me to get Salah in which case I think Darwin's the other one.
Yeah, I think you can supplement Salah with a Darwin or a Diaz, Jota.
I think there's so many now. It's hard to. There's a lot of competition for those places, and Salah's the only one that you can guarantee.
What you really got to hope is that Liverpool beat Chelsea, and one of those players we just mentioned plays well, so they're bound to start next week. That would be ideal. What we don't want is none of them doing anything and a mismatch of minutes because that'll just cause more headaches. But my plan is Gakpo for Pedro next week, or Darwin. So it depends.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, Darwin. There's been a lot of hype about his preseason. and probably the most likely of the centre, because he can play on the left as well, can he? So I feel like he is at 7.5 pretty well priced and probably the most likely to get the most amount of starts. But yeah, I'm not sure because I've just made these last minute changes. How much did I say I had left? I think I said I did have money for Salah, didn't I? I think I did.
You got 4.5, I think you said, yeah.
4.5, fucking hell, yeah. So I think for me, yeah, it's like United have got Spurs away next game. My shout would be to bring in Salah for Bruno and then just to stick with Rashford, and so that's probably what I'm going to do.
I think a lot of people are doing. I've noticed like today, the screenshots I've been sent is that people seem to be taking Rashford out for Salah, even for this first week, which does, when you look at it and then you see their teams, you think, oh yeah, that is a good team. But I'm happy to leave Salah out for the first week when you've got Rashford at home to Wolves.
Yeah, I mean Chelsea. I think for me, Chelsea Liverpool is just best. Well, I say that I got Trent now, but it was best avoiding more or less because it's just impossible to know really, especially with some of these other fixtures. Obviously, Richarlison, I don't think was on anyone's radar really until this Kane move.
So what's the latest for that? Because I've been a bit out of it this afternoon. Last I heard, he was waiting to get a plane to Germany.
Yeah, I think it's basically going to be confirmed anytime, I think. So, and Spurs, funnily enough, they're on their fantasy. Kane is the only striker. So when he's gone, their squad literally does not have a forward in it. There's got to be
That's
a
first, I reckon.
That's got to be a first. Yeah. So obviously, Richarlison basically ends up being a midfielder who's going to be the main number 9 unless they sign anyone. You'd think they're going to sign someone.
Yeah, but it might take that person a few weeks to bed in as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And Spurs, yeah, I mean, Brentford away is not a bad opening fixture. From what I've heard, they've been scoring a lot of goals in pre-season.
Yeah, I haven't seen what I've heard. This manager is an attacking manager. I didn't really see any of him, what he did at Celtic. But yeah, all-out attack apparently is the way.
He's a bit of a dodge one for me. He's one where if it starts going wrong early, he might not take long. I could see him being one of the first to go.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout if they get off to a terrible start. But I mean, losing your best player like on the eve of the start of the season isn't exactly his fault. But I'm sure he was probably told that he'd have to deal with that when he took the job.
Yeah. Matt saying surprised at lack of Enciso. I did have a look. What was he? 5.5.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and in the amount of time I spent thinking about what 6.5 striker to get, the other thing is you either get a 6.5 who's very decent, like Diaby, Mitoma, Mbuemo, Eze. So there were 4 really good options, or you go right down to 4.5, get Anderson or whatever. The other 4.5 I had in a couple of drafts was Chukwuemeka.
I had him as well, yeah.
I mean, I think he was really low owned, and with the injury to Nkunku, it sounds like he might actually. I think I'll still be surprised if he starts, but he's going to be in and around the first team. And at 4.5 as a Chelsea player could end up being like bargain of the season. I feel like
it could be. Yeah, from what I've seen from their fan base, they all want him to start in the number 10 role. So yeah, he was highly rated at Villa. Didn't really get a look in last season, but yeah, him seemed to be the 4.5s.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's like you either go for the 4.5 or the 6.5. The 5.5 bracket is sort of like
back to Enciso. I do rate him. I mean, he obviously scored a couple of bangers last year. Yeah, he's a midfielder, yeah. I think he meant to say midfielder, but yeah. He could be, I think, again, he's going to be rotated a lot because who's going to miss out of like
Brighton's squad's ridiculous now, like the size of it. Like they've got, obviously up front, they've got Welbeck, Ferguson, João Pedro. They've got Mitoma, Undav as well. Mitova, Gross. And
they bought another guy.
Oh yeah, they had that guy. He scored a couple in preseason. He was on loan somewhere last year. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, they got that Buan Cutter as well, whatever his name is. Yeah, it's just packed out.
Yeah, it's just a bit crazy. I was surprised at Mitoma's ownership. It was like, I know their fixtures are great, but I think it was like 40%, something like that. It was really high.
I think people are forgetting that he was a 5 mil midfielder last year, and he's gone up 1.5. And I think for that increase, it's not justified for someone that's not on set pieces.
And he's one of them. I think like Greg got him in quite early, and obviously he did really well for a while. And then by the time like I jumped on, his form sort of dropped off. He wasn't.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is he's a natural winger, isn't he? So he's not like a
thesis on dribbling, mate.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah. But he's not like that's what I think, like a Richarlison, a Rashford, who's basically like a striker, or like even obviously I've gone for Diaby. Yeah. One of the reasons I've gone for Diaby, as well as Villa spent 50 odd mil on him, he's got a really good scoring record for Leverkusen in the last couple of years. But apparently, he is basically playing as a second striker with Watkins. Yeah. So, whereas Mitoma is like just a bit more of a classic winger who he will get assists in the odd goal, but he's not like the main point of attack. So yeah, I was surprised by how highly he was owned.
I think there'll be a lot of like, let's say Brighton like line up a certain way this week. People will change their teams for next week based on that, but that doesn't mean nothing. They're one of those teams that could probably change their team every week just because they've got the players to do it, and they'll have to because those players would have been promised minutes and they're going to have to be fit in somewhere. So, yeah, João Pedro is risky and Cisco is risky, but I've gone for the one on the bench option. So I've got Chilwell first on the bench, who should be nailed on to start. So I'm willing to take the risk. So
yeah, would you like? Yeah, I think obviously James is captain now, isn't he? He's just been made captain.
He is.
And
Chilwell's vice.
And obviously Chilwell, there is still that bit of competition with Cucurella, but I do agree Chilwell. Yeah. I think Cucurella didn't really have a great season, and Chilwell's obviously the number one choice. Chelsea, for me, they've got obviously a tough start. Liverpool next week, West Ham away, which for me, like a defender is still a little bit dodge for Chelsea. West Ham away, in terms of keeping a clean sheet, and also with Chelsea, we just don't know. Like last season, they were so shit. They've had another big summer of changes. New manager, obviously, was a good manager, but it's just hard to know. But then obviously, third game Luton, fourth game Forest, fifth game Bournemouth. So I might wait until that Luton game before I think about getting any Chelsea.
Yeah, don't blame me. Yeah, I think I'm a bit of FOMO with Chilwell probably because he's done. He is one of those players that can get a massive haul in a week. But yeah, there is a bit of competition. But I think the main thing for me was Poch when he was at Tottenham. He was all about the fullbacks. I think that's going to be the same, obviously, at Chelsea. James is probably, like you said, hasn't got any competition at the moment. They're rumoured to be bringing in Tyler Adams. But again, I think that's...
I saw today that they basically have sacked him off because it sounds like they're going to go Casado again. I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a crazy... I mean, what's going on there is just absolutely mad. But who knows what Mudryk as well could be.
Yeah, I know Mudryk is another 6.5 option. It could be a beast, but again, like I just want to wait and see with Chelsea. I just don't know. Matt saying nearly went with Jackson again. I was tempted after the Nkunku injury, especially. Obviously, he's going to be their starting striker for the foreseeable future. But so yeah, again, for me, game week 3, Luton, that I might see, depending on how Jackson starts and how he looks, I might get him and potentially have him and a Chilwell or James and have 2 Chelsea assets.
It's going to take a while for them to gel, isn't it, with so many new players, even following on from January last year. Like, they might not get going until the second half of the season. You just don't know. So, yeah, probably best to one Chelsea max at the moment with a view to bringing more in.
Yeah. Yes, but it's nice. Like, in the end, I had João Pedro in most of my drafts, and then I ended up, because I wanted the money for Salah next week. Basically, my bench is really weak. Baldock, who I think is a starter for Sheffield United. They've got Palace. They've got Palace and Forest first 2 games, so as a sub, it's not a bad shout.
Yeah, I changed the last minute for this Bayer at Burnley, only because there's supposedly that for some reason I don't know why it is they haven't got a game next week. Burnley,
yeah, it's because Luton, their ground, they had to make some modifications to their ground, and it wasn't going to be ready.
Okay.
So they. I think they offered Burnley to play at home, but they said no. So now Burnley and Luton don't have a game because I saw as well the 4-0 defender that Amari Bell at Luton was the most highest pick.
Yeah,
but they don't have a game week 2, and then game week 3, I think they've got like Chelsea. So it's sort of
my thinking is that if you're not going to play them anyway, there's supposedly a gap in game week 7 where they could have an early double. So that's the only reason I'm wary of a Bulldog. But Bulldog, from what I've read from Sheffield United fans, is nailed to start, although they've just brought in another fullback, but they don't think he's going to be a threat straight away.
I only found Googled his name today. Apparently, I think he's a Greek international as of recently. Bulldog.
Yeah,
I think their manager. Who's their manager? Is someone with Premier League experience.
Yeah, it's not that Chris Wilder anymore, is it?
It's Gus Poyet. That's it.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Gus Poyet. Yeah, and Bulldog. Obviously, fuck knows what connection he has to Greece, but yeah, he started playing for them. So yeah, Greek international. There you go, little stat. I've also got Mobama. 19. I think he scored 1 goal in the Europa Conference League last season, but sounds like he's been featured quite heavily in preseason and scored a couple. And it sounds like they don't really know what they're doing with Antonio and Danny Ings. It's shit. So it might actually start, but I don't know.
I think he's got a chance, yeah, because they've got Skamaka's gone, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've only got Antonio will probably start, but if he's on the move, then they might want to start giving this guy minutes. Decent option at 4.5 for your third striker.
And then I've got Archer, which obviously he's never going to play, so I don't. Yeah, he's just there. But yeah, I don't normally go with such a weak bench. But then again, I was also thinking and now, obviously now there's 5 subs. We had that last season. 5 subs. You've got 100 minutes being played. The chances that your player isn't going to feature unless he's injured. Your 11 is going to play, especially at the start of the season. So I just felt like actually, what's the point? Like having João Pedro on the bench almost feels like a bit of a waste because it's like I'm not like like I'm not going to need him. So yeah, obviously you've started him. I know a few people have started him this week.
Yeah, I've been through so many different templates, but in the end it was like originally it looked like I was going to go with 1 up front and 2 4.5 strikers, but considering João Pedro and Nketiah have emerged as options, I thought it's good. It allows like that first on the bench to come on if needed, and then you got your 2 cannon fodders there. I was just going to ask, did you change your captain before deadline, or who have you gone for?
No, it's Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he's like, what was his ownership in the end? It was 85% last time I looked.
I think it was
89%.
His bench is pretty similar. I guess pretty similar to mine. Yeah, I think a lot of people have gone for a very weak bench to start with. What were we saying, Ben? Sorry.
Haaland 89% ownership. I imagine that at least 70% of them are captaining him. It was a toss-up for me between him, Saka, Bruno, and Rashford. I went Saka last minute. There's no real. It was just panic. Not really too fussed. I think any one of those is a good option. I'm not going to panic if he doesn't do anything.
Do you know, I remember last season, I had Haaland in for the start. I think a lot of people did, but not everyone. I think.
With the amount of players from that team news, if they obviously we've only got 10 minutes left to find out if that has come true or not.
Yeah.
If they have got a bit of a weird side out tonight, City, I heard that I can't remember who was saying. I think it was Gary Neville was saying that he spoke to Company and they came back for pre-season 3 weeks after the championship finished, which was only like 2 weeks after the Prem ended. So they're going to be like, obviously they're going to be up for it. First game back in the Prem at home. I'm not saying that, obviously they're playing Man City, but with company's knowledge of how Pep plays and everything else, I'm hoping for an upset. But
I mean, it would be ideal for me now, or well, for both of us, if Burnley at least score, which I think is. But I think Man City do tend to concede a few at the start of the season. But yeah, but with Haaland, I remember not captaining him game week 1. I think I went with Kane, and Spurs scored like 5 goals, and Kane did nothing. And Haaland scored 2 on his debut in it. I can't remember who it was against, but
followed up by a hat trick. Was it the next week?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so that I still remember that vividly. So I just couldn't not captain.
Yeah, I remember because he was he had a poor game in the Charity Shield, and then everyone was like, "Oh, I don't know about Haaland," and I was one of them. I think I was the same as you. I think I had Kane, and then as soon as I saw that, he was straight in, and then he didn't leave my team the rest of the season.
Didn't you have Kulusevski?
Yes. Yeah, I think I had him.
You had him in your team. You might not.
I'm still interested in him this season, but I think with Richarlison, same price paying up front, makes sense.
Yeah, Madison's another one as well, obviously. But I think now with Kane gone, it's like that link up was going to be promising, but I think now, yeah, a bit more dodge.
I ain't got any tabs open. I was going to have a look at like different price ranges and stuff, but we've got 7 minutes to go until the team news is out.
Yeah, fuck. I think I did have one with transfers and stuff, but it's gone.
Anyone who's still watching got any questions? Let us know who your captain in. I think there's probably going to be a few different ones around, even though Haaland is, probably the obvious one.
Yeah. Obviously, I think it's pretty templated in it though at the moment. Like realistically, nearly everyone's got Gabriel, Shaw, Estupinan, Rashford, Saka, Haaland. So that's like over half your team is going to be
Bruno probably,
and Bruno or maybe Martinelli.
At
one point, I had Saka, Martinelli, Bruno, and Rashford. Then I just thought basically a whole midfield from 2 teams. I don't know. I wasn't too comfortable with that. So
yeah, I know someone, Jez, if you're watching from work, he's gone for the holy trinity of Arsenal: Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka all in midfield.
Wow.
I think the Forest game is one of those ones where if we score early, like I think there's some stat about we haven't beaten a team by more than 5 goals in like loads of years now, and obviously the big teams do that, once a season on average type thing. I think tomorrow, if we do get a couple of early ones, it could be an absolute massacre. But
Matt's saying thoughts on his team. So I've just seen this in WhatsApp. So he's gone Onana in goal. I've seen Onana is really highly selected. Yeah, they do have some pretty good early fixtures. But yeah, I think he's the highest selected goalkeeper. I haven't had him in any of my drafts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at Matt's team now as well. So he's got Trent, which you can't really argue with.
He's starting Garnacho.
Yeah, so he's gone for 3 up front.
Gone for 3 up front.
I mean, your squad's unbelievable, Matt.
Yeah.
Why have you benched Foden when he's meant to be starting? I hope you didn't misread what we were saying incorrectly.
Yeah, I think Ben
surely Foden over Enciso, isn't it?
Yeah, that does seem brave. Garnacho as well as a starter. Garnacho as a 5 mil did tempt me. I think I had him at one point.
Yeah.
I know that he has featured quite a lot in preseason. I just again want to wait and see. Like he's going to be rotating, isn't he? With
Sancho, Anthony,
yeah,
Rashford,
yeah. But yeah, 3 strikers. I haven't seen that. I also had Trent and Darwin at one point, and then I thought having 2 Liverpool players away at Chelsea was a bit dodge. I've got Purnell's team as well, so he's gone Edison in goal again. I mean, I could say this about so many fucking players, but I did have him in like my very first draft, and then because at the end of the day, he's like the only Man City defensive player who is guaranteed to start, but he's also a very expensive goalkeeper who's not going to get any bonus points.
I've just seen another rumor here that Rico Lewis is starting in midfield.
Is it? That could be in the Stones place.
Yeah, that'll be it, wouldn't it? Yeah, that makes sense.
Matt just
Kovacic,
saying he wants.
Kovacic's got an injury, I think. Yeah.
Matt's just saying he wants Garnacho and Ciso on. If either don't play, then Foden ideal backup. I mean, the thing is, if they don't start, they're probably going to come on.
Oh
But
yeah, you went through this with me earlier. If one of them doesn't play, that it made sense. I can't remember what you were saying now, but it made sense when I read it.
you have to know Matt as a bit of a maverick in
He
the.
is
Pernell, just going back to Pernell's team, he's
Yeah.
got Haaland and Alvarez. So it sounds like a few people have done that.
Yeah, I don't mind that
Yeah,
because I think he will take a few minutes away from KDB this season for sure. Maybe later on in the season, more likely, but he's not going to hang around to sit on the bench when he's won everything. Can't believe he's won everything in the game after one season in top level football. But yeah.
So Pernell's is Edison, Estupiñán, Shaw, Gabriel, three at the back, Rashford, Odegaard, Bruno, Saka, and Mitoma, and then Alvarez and Haaland up front.
I'm liking it. Well, there's a lot of similar teams, which means that no one's going to fall behind too early unless the captain choices don't pay off. That's the main thing for me. Is like I don't really care if I don't have an amazing week. I just want to have an average week and get off to just suss out what's going on, basically.
Yeah. So you have gone Saka. I mean, that could.
Yeah, I've gone Saka.
That could go. Yeah, I mean, that could sort you out. To be fair, I mean, it's a bit of a risk early, but
it is.
But yeah, it could get you off to a good start. I do think. Hopefully, it'll be good this season if Haaland is not such a nailed-on captain like every week. I think next week, if I put Salah in, I think he's got to go captain at home to Bournemouth. I think City are at home to Newcastle next week. So, I think. Yeah.
Go on.
No, go on. What's Paz's team?
He's just sent me his team. Anana as well. He's gone for a stupid unsure Gabriel. That seems to be a popular back three. Rashford and Mbuemo. To be fair, that's a good shout. Like with Tony out, thought more teams would have had him. To be fair, Salah, Mitoma, Saka, Haaland, and Pedro. So again, quite template. It's a good 2-6. I think a lot of people are going to go down the 2-6.5 routes like Paj has. Frees up the funds for Salah.
Yeah,
I like that.
So his was what, Mbuemo and Mitoma?
Yeah, he's got Mbuemo and Mitoma, and then he's still managed to get Saka, Salah, and Rashford. So I think if you go Salah, you're sacrificing Rashford or Bruno, basically, isn't it? That's your conundrum.
Yeah, so it's going. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had Mbuemo in my team literally the whole preseason. I don't think he's like one of the only ones who didn't come out at all until basically today, because of Richarlison, really.
Yeah.
And also, I just Brentford. Are they going to be that good without Tony? Like, Mbuemo is going to be the main man.
I think they've been still scoring a few in pre-season. I've got my eye on another one for Brentford, youngster Lewis Potter. They bought him last season, but he had, I think, an ACL injury, and he's highly rated. I've seen today that Bournemouth bought that Alex Scott as well. He's going to be a highly rated Championship player. So some good young English players to keep an eye on.
We're talking about that. The lineup should be out. I'm trying to.
It should be 7 o'clock. Let's have a little refresh. Here we go.
Man City.
It came true.
Mate, it came true.
Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button now for this second-hand information I'm getting.
Stones isn't even in the squad.
Hey?
Stones.
Fucking, I thought you said Foden for a sec. Yeah,
no. Stones is not in the squad.
Yeah, so I'll read the team out. Edison in goal. Walker right back. Akanji. They put this in a word order. Edison, Walker, Akanji, Ake, Lewis, Rodri, KDB, Bernardo, Foden. Alvarez starts with Haaland.
Alvarez starts. That is big.
I think that's the first time I've seen KDB and Alvarez start in the same lineup, because usually Alvarez plays that attacking midfielder, so that's going to be interesting. I think this has got to be like a bit of Pep madness, knowing that company's going to try to second guess what he's doing. I think that's where this has come from. Their bench actually for a City bench is not one of the greatest benches I've seen. Grealish, attacking wise, Grealish and Cole Palmer, basically. Yeah, nice.
Didn't Grealish? Was he? He was in Greg's team at one point, I think. I don't know if he went with him in the end.
I did say to him earlier that he hasn't played in pre-season, so hopefully you take that on board. But
I mean, for me, obviously, I'm pleased. Thank you for letting me know about John Stones. That's big. I think Stones, I'm owned by 30. Last time I checked, it was 30%. So it's going to be. I mean, if people have gone with a really weak bench and Stones isn't even in the squad,
it'll be interesting to see actually once the game week opens back up again, having a look at how many he's selected by now to see how many people managed to make that transfer before, because this was only announced 10 minutes before the deadline, and the site did crash for a few minutes. So
yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, for me, the main thing is I did have Foden many times, and have I got him or not?
It's one of those days, man. I can't wait to get a beer after this. Seriously, like.
Yeah, there's been stress levels. I don't think I do. I'm pretty sure I don't. So obviously, my hope is that he doesn't do too much. Maybe Grealish comes on for him. Palmer probably going to get a few more minutes this season. You reckon? So
he might be going on loan though. I heard to where was it? Is it West Ham? Can't remember now.
I think I did see they were interested.
I think there's a few teams interested.
But
unless they bring somebody, he's not going to be going out.
Interesting.
Thanks to everyone as well that joined the head-to-head league to get that sorted today. I think we managed to get 20 bang on, didn't we?
Yeah. I was going to say that. Yeah. So we got exactly 20 last season. I think we annoyingly ended up with 21. So people were playing a randomly generated other once a week. So we don't have that this year. So we've got. I think most of the people listening are in there. So 20 in the head-to-head. A proper league, and the Foxes and Fantasy League as well for anyone who's watched today. I forgot to put the code in the description, but send it around, Davis. We have had a few more joiners. Everyone who was in it last season, obviously in it again. So yeah. Cheers. And then also, I don't know, are you still taking openings for your money league?
No, so I did say it was going to be open until 5, but we managed to hit the magic number of 32 early this afternoon, so I closed it because I thought when the cup rolls around, you're going to get a nice little fixture list for that. So thanks to the 32 of you that come in the money league. I'll post the prize structure shortly. I just need to work it out. I think we're probably going to do prizes for the first 3. 4th will be money back, and there'll be a little prize for the cup as well.
Nice. Yeah, Davis. I mean, here we are. Surely you can win it again. Can you? 2 years in a row.
I think. If I win it again, everyone's going to start thinking my money leagues are fixed. So I don't know. Not sure if I want to win, but I'm aiming for top 50 foul again. If I can get that 3 years in a row, that would be huge for the thumbnail.
Right, top 50 foul 2 years in a row. I got 50 foul what feels like a long time ago, but it was the year before that. Actually, I didn't. I ended up like 56, annoyingly. But between us, at least one of us has finished right up there the last 3 years in a row. So we are well placed to give good tips. And stick with us. I think we'll leave it there for this week. Good luck to everyone for a start.
Good luck, boys and girls.
Fuck off Foden tonight. Fuck off Alvarez.
Come on, Foden.
Come on, Foden. Haaland hat trick. 3-1. I'll take that. Happy days. Cool. Enjoy your holiday, Ben. I know you're on. You've
I'm about to get a beer and get in the hot tub. Yeah.
All right. Enjoy. Get the Man City game on. And we'll catch you all next week.
All right. See you next week. Cheers, lads.
All right. Nice one. Bye.